Hey, good morning, everyone. Oh, it's not morning. Still in that habit of saying good morning. It's afternoon here in beautiful Montgomery Village, Maryland. It is Wednesday, September 2nd, and hopefully it won't be too noisy around here. If it is, I'll move us inside, but just thought I would come outside and have a little change of, keep up the change of scenery. Hope you guys are all doing well. I'll just do my little check-in, and I love hearing from some of you, letting me know how you're doing. If you tuned in last episode, my husband and I were headed to Lexington, Kentucky, where my daughter is playing soccer. But she's not playing soccer now because she broke her leg during a scrimmage, and she had to have surgery, which is why I was gone last week. So she's doing well. She just had her follow-up visit. She got the cast off. She's back in a boot and healing well. So her soccer season is no more, but which is a little heartbreaking, of course, but otherwise, she's fine and life will go on. So that's what's up in my world, mostly just taking care of my youngest. And let's see. Yeah, it's a hot one here, so I'll probably get a little sweaty, and my hair's in that weird growing out phase where I have to use a headband and pieces are gonna fall out. It's a mess, but I can't quite get it all into a ponytail yet. So enough about me. Hope to hear from some of you checking in and letting me know how you're doing, but in the meantime, let's do some yoga, okay? So hopefully you can have a strap and a tennis ball, and yeah, that's about it. So take a nice comfortable seat, whether that is on your mat or on a blanket or some small cushion or in a chair. And once you have established your comfortable seat and sort of plugged your sitting bones into the support beneath you, take a moment to find a comfortable resting place for your hands. I usually have my hands just resting on my thighs, maybe occasionally palms up. But if you like to have your hands clasped in your lap or something like that, that's always fine. Just kind of see what works for you on any given day. And once you have settled in, just go ahead and let your eyes drift closed. Notice your surroundings. Just sort of start that process of letting yourself settle where you are. So once you have allowed your senses to just check in with your surroundings, begin the process of moving farther inward. And so our first stop on our inward journey is always with the breath. Noticing the breath as it is right now. And just enjoying the simplicity of having nothing to consider but the rhythm of your own breath. So now, moving your attention beyond the breath. Noticing whatever else your body might be trying to tell you as you begin your practice. Maybe there's some part of you that is asking for a little extra attention or care today. Maybe your body is simply asking for a slight change in position, so I'm going to just switch and put the other leg in front, just to kind of release a little tension on one hip. And so, as your next inhalation rolls through, let it draw you up from the base of your spine, extending all the way through the crown of your head. Let the exhale soften your shoulders. And then begin to move your head slowly in any direction that feels good. And then let that next in-breath float your head back up to its normal neutral position and make those big circles with the shoulders. And take those circles the other way. Make some circles with the whole length of the spine. Remember, your head stays nice and tall while you do this. Just moving your spine is as a unit. And circle the other way. So as you come back to center, let's go ahead and stretch those legs out. I don't know about you, but I feel ready to uncross my legs here. And I think I'm gonna change my angle a little bit here. Stretch those legs out. And my feet always look giant there at the front of the screen. My poor little size 7s look so big. Good, let's point and flex. And point, and flex, and point, and flex, and let's make some circles. And circle the other way. back to the flexed feet. And so I'm hoping that since you're at home, maybe you have your socks off. I know a lot of us keep our socks on when we're at the room at Medstar, but maybe if your socks are on, take them off, because we're going to do some work with our toes. So when your feet are relaxed, you know, your toes are probably pretty close together. And then let's see if you can spread your toes wide. And then one foot might be more responsive than the other. Don't worry about it. Just the effort to spread your toes is going to engage those small muscles in the feet that tend to get ignored. And then go ahead and relax and spread those toes again, just like you're doing jazz hands but with your toes. And relax and spread and relax. Good. Let's cross the left ankle over that right thigh and we'll rock. And then go ahead and put that left ankle down. And so we're sitting up tall and that right foot is flexed. Good. So let's go ahead and see if you can spread the toes. You can go ahead and do both feet, but mostly I'm paying attention to the right foot. And then just go ahead and tilt forward just a bit until you feel that stretch in the back of the calf or the back of the thigh, and see if you can keep those toes sort of spreading. Even if they don't spread really wide, just that energetic attempt to spread them. It'll probably wake up some interesting sensations maybe in the lower leg. And then relax that, uncross, recross on the other side. And we're gonna rock. Boy, can you hear those cicadas? So loud. And go ahead and put it down. So again, it's just above the knee here on your thigh. And so again, let's see if we can spread the toes. And I have a hard time doing one foot without the other. So go ahead and spread both sets of toes. Sitting up nice and tall. And again, just tilting forward from your hip crease until you feel that stretch in the back of the leg. Again, see if you can keep those toes spread. And then relax. All right, so let's bring the soles of the feet together. And a lot of times when we do this, there's a tendency to kind of collapse and kind of roll back onto your tailbone. So see if you can sit up nice and tall, sort of bringing your belly button forward in space. And if you're still not quite finding your sitting bones underneath you, go ahead and bring your feet farther forward, and then that might help a little bit. So again, nice tall posture. And just sitting like this, maybe plenty of stretch in here on the inner thighs. But if you want a little more, again, think about folding at the hip crease. Of course, if this bothers your low back or bothers anything else, you can sit this one out. And then relax, and let's come back to sitting however you're most comfortable, including on a chair is fine. We're just gonna wake up the upper body a little, take a big inhale. And if it feels okay to clasp your hands and stretch your arms up like that, that's fine. Or you can just reach your hands or just reach one, whatever works. Whatever your shoulders are giving you today. And let's do a little twist one way and then the other. And back again. Twist again, and back to center, and let's do a couple of tilts. So keeping your sitting bones pretty well rooted so you're not, falling over. Just taking the arms and the upper part of the spine into a little side bend. And then come on back. Bring your hands behind your head. And so elbow down, elbow down. And then finally, we're gonna take one hand down, one arm up. And go the other way. Nice and easy. Good, and as we come back up through center, let's take one hand to the opposite knee. So you're reaching across, and let that back hand just float down. Take a look over that back shoulder. And then come back to center. And let's take a big inhale. This time we're gonna go the other way. So hand to opposite knee. Taking a look over that shoulder. Couple of nice easy breaths here. And then back to center. And so I thought next, before we come to standing and do our tennis ball foot massage, we will come down to our bellies on the mat. And so I'm gonna adjust. Whoopsie. I am telling you, if you guys could see how low tech my setup is here, you would just have a good laugh. Because I've got my phone, which I'm recording on, and it's kind of taped to my laptop. Because my laptop, you know, I can change the angle forward and back. It's hilarious. Anyway, we do what we can, right? All right, so we're coming down onto our bellies, and let's go ahead and just take a moment, let your forehead rest. So remember, it might feel like we're doing not much of anything here with the forehead resting, but we know that gentle pressure on the forehead is calming to the central nervous system. I don't know about you, but I can feel it. When I rest my forehead on my hands, it just feels like something kind of closes down in a way that lets me turn inward and just gives me a little bit of a reprieve from the busyness of the world outside of myself. So just take those couple of breaths here. And you can also take advantage of this prone position to really be in touch with the movement of the rib cage as you breathe. Good. So go ahead and lift your head, and let's bring our palms underneath our shoulders so the elbows are in close to your body. If that position doesn't work for your shoulders or your elbows or for any other reason, you can kind of adjust a little, make it a little more comfortable, whatever works. I'm gonna angle myself a little bit here so you can kind of see what I'm doing as we go forward here. So go ahead and just kind of work your hips back away from your rib cage a little bit. So we're just kind of creating a little extra spaciousness in the spine, if that makes sense. Good, and then we're just gonna come up just a little bit. Feel those upper back muscles working, and then come down on the exhale. So the inhales lift, and the exhales lower. So you're not supporting yourself completely on your arms. Your arms are there on the ground for a little support, but see if you can really use those back muscles, not in a way that feels like a strain, just so you can feel like, oh yeah, I have muscles there in the upper back and the mid back. So we're just doing a little bit of back bending, and the technical term is spinal extension. Really good way to strengthen those back muscles to keep a nice, strong, healthy posture. Good. And so as you come down, we're going to do a little stretch for the shoulder. And again, this is one that might feel great. If it doesn't feel good, you can skip it. And my angle isn't going to show it very well, but I'm stretching my arm out directly perpendicular to my body. So it's right at shoulder height. And again, I'm kind of angled, so the angle looks a little weird. I think I'm actually going to change here. Good, so we're stretching it straight out to the side. All right. And so then I want you to roll onto that side. So let's say you're using your right arm, you're rolling onto your right side. And again, if you start to feel any pain, you can stop, but you're just gonna gently roll toward that arm just until you feel the beginnings of a stretch. And you'll notice my head is up off the ground, so we're not resting the head. Good, so we're just looking for a stretch. This is really similar to a stretch we've done at the wall before. We don't do it too often because we don't have a lot of wall space in our classroom there. But we're just using our body weight and doing it on the floor instead. This is just a nice stretch for the front of the shoulder. Again, don't roll into it to the point of pain. Good, and then come back to center, and then I'm just gonna shimmy so I can be on camera here. You're gonna stretch the other arm out and just take a peek, make sure it's straight out at shoulder height, and you're just gonna kind of roll toward it until you feel a stretch. You're kind of rolling onto that side hip. Head is up. You can just kind of look off to the side. And if this feels good and you want a little bit deeper stretch, you can think about just pressing your arm down onto the floor. So again, you may only be rolled just a little bit. Everyone's going to be a little different in terms of their shoulder flexibility here. You're going to just be very mindful. And then roll back to center. And let's come up to hands and knees. And we're just going to briefly stretch back to either child's pose, hips to heels, or puppy pose. And then back up to hands and knees. And from here, I am going to put my blanket back on my mat and put my knees on it. So you may want to as well. You're going to come up to the top of your mat and step forward. All right, I'm going to keep mirroring. I'm going to say right foot steps forward, even though this is my left foot. But I'm trying to do that mirroring thing for you guys. So remember, it's fine to have a chair nearby or hold on to that leg to feel a little more stable. And we're going to slide that right foot forward. And we're just gonna rock back and forth. I think we might have done this 2 weeks ago, because when we took last week off, I think we might have done this 2 weeks ago. So you'll forgive me if I'm being repetitive. I try not to repeat things too frequently, but this is a good one anyway. So we're just, when we're in that forward position, we're getting a stretch in the back hip, the front of the back hip. And then when we stretch back and kind of straighten that leg and maybe pull those toes back, we're getting that stretch here. So again, I have this little lightweight coffee table here. Oops. And so you could pull something over and hold on to it if that feels better, right? Good thing about that wicker or rattan porch furniture, it's very lightweight. At least this is. Good. And then switch. And you're going to step forward with the left foot. So our body naturally steps into pretty much of a right angle. But we're going to open up that angle by shimmying those toes forward a couple of inches and rock forward and back again. And so as you rock back again, go ahead and draw that foot back so that your heel is right under your knee. You're in that right angle again. And then you can just come on up to standing, however works best for you. And set the blanket aside if you were using it and grab your tennis ball. And start maybe with the foot that you don't ordinarily start with. So switch to that second foot. Let the second foot enjoy first place status here for a little bit. And we're just rolling it out. And then putting the heel down, the ball is under the ball of your foot, and you're pressing down, and you're rocking that forefoot side to side. The heel never moves. And then we're going to roll it back so that the toes are down and the ball is just in front of the heel, and we're stepping. It is roasty toasty out here. I hear it's going to be nice for the Labor Day weekend, though, that the humidity is going to drop, so I hope that's true. All right, go to the other foot and roll it out. Boy, I'm looking around my yard, at my backyard a little bit as I do this, and remembering that the weeds, once again, have won the battle. Every year I try really hard to stay ahead of it and stay on top of the weeding, but boy, oh boy, at the end, about this time every year, I realize, like, I'm just not keeping up. So if you have any really good weeding tips or weed control tips, let me know. I get out there, but the mosquitoes eat the heck out of me, and I put on a bunch of spray, and I tell ya. All right, so heel down, ball under the ball of your foot. Press down and rock it side to side. I think weeding is nobody's favorite thing probably, but I always have such good intentions. Hard to believe summer is almost over. Kind of feels like we missed our summer, doesn't it? All right, and then roll it back. Toes down, ball is in front of the heel, and then step on that ball and just let your weight settle in there. Release. Okay, go ahead and set that ball aside. And I'm going to once again adjust my camera angle. And come to the center of your mat if you would. Find your mountain pose. Your feet are nice and parallel. Take a big inhale. And again, maybe clasp your hands, stretch up. And we're just going to tilt one way and then the other. And of course we did this when we were sitting down, but now our hips are free to move in the opposite direction of our arms and our head, so we can get kind of a full body crescent moon kind of stretch. And then as you come back to center, let's separate the hands, slide one hand down the outside seam of your pants, reach up overhead with the other hand. And then come back to center and go the other way. And back to center. Let's take a big inhale again. Exhale, sit back into your imaginary chair. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Good. So from here, we're going to come up and we're going to open the arms and we're going to lift the chin. Open the chest, and then on the exhale, we round. Inhale, open. Exhale, round. Inhale, open. Exhale, round. Good. On the inhale, come up and bring those hands around, and you can either clasp them behind your waist or just place them on your low back. Elbows draw in, shoulder blades draw in. Feel that nice opening across the chest. Breathe into it. Just do a few lazy back strokes as you come to the back of your mat. And I am going to once again angle my mat just a little bit, because I have learned over these many months of teaching that sometimes an angled mat is better to show what's going on. It's better perspective. So you're at the back of your mat and you're in mountain pose. And that right foot, oh, now I'm not mirroring again, whatever, just follow me as best you can. Your right foot is going to just step forward on that same train track. And we're going to float those arms up. And bend the knee, the front knee. Good. That back foot is going to turn out some so that your ankle isn't bothering you. Good. So inhale, straighten. Exhale, bend. Inhale, straighten. Exhale, bend. Inhale. Exhale. One more time. Good. So that was warrior one, facing the front of the mat. Now we're going to face the side. So bring that right arm in front and the left arm in back. And so I'm turning, you can see, so that my chest is facing the long side of the mat, and I'm in warrior two. So now inhale, straighten here. Exhale, bend. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale. Exhale. One more time. Good. So now, bring your hand down to that front thigh. Take your top arm up next to your ear. And you can either bend that front elbow and kind of lean into this, or maybe it'll feel okay to bring your front elbow down onto the top of that thigh. Good, stretching long through those top fingertips. Good, and then from here, we're just gonna straighten that front knee, hand to shin, top arm reaches for the ceiling now. So we're in triangle pose. Stay where you are. I'm just gonna show you my triangles here, right? So you can see why it's called triangle pose. The legs are a triangle. Got a little triangle here. All straight lines. Good, and then bend that front knee and slowly come back up. Take a little breather as you come back to the back of your mat again. And go ahead and settle into your mountain pose, standing on the train tracks. Sounds a little dangerous, but since they're imaginary train tracks, I guess we're okay. All right, so now your left foot is going to step forward on its own track, and your right foot is going to turn out a little bit. Good. Remember, we're oriented hips toward the short end of the mat, the front end. Big inhale. Exhale, bend that front knee, kind of lean into it. Inhale, straighten. Exhale, bend. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. So from here, your feet really aren't going to change much. You're just going to bring that left arm in front and the right arm in back. Maybe you're going to turn those back toes out a little bit to point toward the long side of your mat. Good. You're inhaling. Exhale, bend. Inhale, straighten. Exhale, bend. Good. So as you go through this a few more times, following your own breath, just kind of pay attention to that front knee. As it bends, we're trying to keep it open toward the pinky toe rather than letting it roll in toward the big toe, right? Yeah, that'll probably not feel so great for the knee. So just kind of watch the track of that front knee. kind of have it track out over your pinky toe and your second, you know, that, what would it be, the ring toe? The toe next to the pinky. Good. So here we are again. We're going to bring hand down, and I always like to turn my fingers in, and then take that top arm up next to your ear. Good. And we're just going to stretch really long through those top fingertips. So again, if it feels good, if it feels like it's available in your body to bring elbow to thigh, you could do that. If that doesn't feel so great, you can come back up and put the hand on the thigh. Good. And then all that's going to change here is we're going to straighten that front leg, bring your hand down, maybe just right below your knee, and that top arm reaches for the ceiling. And you're in triangle pose again. And then bend that front knee, root through that foot, bring yourself back up to standing. All right. And just kind of maybe do a few little lazy kicks. Kind of release any tension you were holding there from that work in Warrior. We did Warrior 1, we did Warrior 2, we did extended side angle pose, and we did triangle pose on both sides. So yay us. All right, so we're gonna slowly make our way down to the mat. And I just realized we didn't do any balance work while we were standing. So if you would like to pause and do a little tree pose, or some other balance work now, you can do that. I'm going to not, because I don't want to run over our hour of time, and I certainly don't want to cheat you out of Shavasana. So we're just gonna use our strap, and we're going to lie down. I'm gonna, again, kind of change my angle so more of me stays on the screen. And we're gonna do our nice stretch with the strap. And these make frequent appearances, right? We do these fairly often. We want to keep that nice flexibility in the back line of the body. So when we have a nice flexibility there, it actually tends to help prevent some things like plantar fasciitis, and can be helpful for low back pain. So here we are, stretching that leg up. Remember, the strap is gently pulling down. See if you can let your torso and your head be really nice and relaxed here, just heavy on your mat. All the work is going to happen, you know, at hip level and below. So just let your rib cage and your head be relaxed. And so using both ends of the strap, putting both ends of the strap in that right hand, let the leg come out and back in, and maybe cross over a bit and back out. So just take your time, and if you want to maybe hang out with the leg in the wide position, you could do that if that stretch feels good. Maybe you have some tightness in here that you noticed when we were doing that seated, remember we were doing that seated cobbler's pose? So maybe if you have some tightness here in the inner thigh, this might feel good to hang out here a little bit. Otherwise, you can just keep that going. to the left foot, stretch it up, and just pause here. So both ends of the strap go in the left hand, and we'll start to float that leg out and back in and across. Set your strap aside, bring your knees to your chest, and rock side to side. And then go ahead and begin to make your way into your favorite position for Shavasana. As you come to rest again, let your eyes drift closed, leaving the visual world behind. Begin to release yourself to gravity. Remembering that the time for effort has passed. The time for ease has arrived. Knowing that you are fully supported by the ground beneath you and by those around you. Nowhere to go, and nothing to do. Slowly and gently, allow your awareness to return to your breath, your body, and the space around you. Invite small movements into your fingers and toes. When you're ready, bend your knees and roll to your right side. And then gradually make your way back up to a seated position. And just check back in, notice how you're feeling at the end of your practice. This poem is called Closed Fist or Open Hand. I've always taken a tight-fisted approach to life, clutching at my suffering as if nothing else exists but this worry, doubt, confusion, or despair. I held my misery close because it was known, instead of risking the void by letting go. Now I try opening my hand, feeling the stiff fingers peel back one by one to leave my palm flat, like a launch pad. Relaxing that tight grip feels impossible until I do it. And then I'm left shaking my head in disbelief. What exactly did I think I had to grasp? So we'll close our practice by joining our hands together in front of our hearts in a gesture of offering and of peace. I thank you all so very much for sharing your practice with me and especially with one another, wherever we all may be as we watch it. Namaste. Thanks, everyone. Thanks for bearing with me. I ended up in a different place than I started. The noise outside was getting kind of crazy, so I snuck through my house and landed in my daughter's room, which is now kind of an empty room. But I noticed that my shirt matches the wall. Anyway, have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you next time.